So g'day and welcome to this catch up with the Jesuits. My name's Julian Butler and I'm joined by two of my Jesuit scholastic brothers, Matthew Pinson and Joshua Choong. Welcome. Matthew and I are currently in Melbourne in lockdown. Josh, you're in Sydney and have spent the last couple of years in Sydney teaching. Jesuits have a long history of teaching and were described as the schoolmasters of Europe. Can you tell us what that connection is between Jesuits and teaching? Why it's been such a strong part of our history?
Well, it's part of the formula of the institute really is to for the education of children and unlettered persons. At that time, Ignatius and his companions actually taught catechism to adults and children, and that was one of the first ministries. And he was also evolving to believe much more in institutions, especially in schools, and that is to help souls. As for myself, I actually teach mathematics at St. Aloysius College. I see my work in mathematics or in teaching mathematics is to try to help students, to succeed in mathematics. Basically, I give my all, really, my gifts and my talents and my abilities, my whole person, I give to my students. Yeah.
Thanks, Josh. Matthew, you're a scientist by background, and you might be able to share a little bit with us about the eclipse that we saw last week. And Jesuit connections to eclipses through history.
Yes, that's right. We had a lunar eclipse, but there was a particular solar eclipse that was very important for Jesuit history back in 1592. So Matteo Ricci was a Jesuit missionary in China at that point, and he really wanted to get to Beijing, which was the capital, but Europeans just weren't allowed in. But when the eclipse came along, he was actually able to predict when it would occur more accurately than any of the Chinese astronomers. And because eclipse was seen as a very portentous event for the emperor in particular, that was his way in, and he was allowed to come into that community. And then he became known as a very good scientist, astronomer, and geographer. And the reason he knew so much about these subjects was that one of the finest mathematicians and astronomers in Europe, Christopher Clavius, actually happened to be a Jesuit and had taught Matteo Ricci at the Roman College when he was studying to become a Jesuit priest.
Wonderful. Cheers. Joshua, so much a part of Jesuit life is finding joy in ministry, and you're in the ministry of teaching. Could you tell us what's given you joy this week?
I was in my mathematics classroom, and the boys knew that I'm going to leave in August to continue my theological studies in Boston College. And they asked me, if I'm coming back, if the provincial wants me to go back to Aloysius College, I'll probably be back in about 4 or 5 years. And their faces fell when they heard that, because it means that they would have graduated by then. And they also say, "Oh, sir, can you celebrate my wedding? Oh, yeah, can I?" And I said, "Yes, of course, I can even christen your kids." And it was a moment of I guess fulfillment for me, and also a warmth there, because it shows that I've made an impact on that kid's life.
Beautiful. Matthew, for you at Newman College in lockdown here in Melbourne, what's brought you joy this week?
Well, this week is study week at the University of Melbourne, so all of the students are gearing up for exams, and it's really been good to see them, watch them prepare for that. The library's full and there are events going on to make sure people are able to focus and have a bit of balance as well. But what's been having the biggest impact on me is just watching how closely the students keep an eye out for each other, checking in, making sure someone's okay, making sure they've been getting enough sleep, giving them a hand, telling them what is likely to be on exams and a few exam tips. And it's just really uplifting to see how people really care about each other and want the other to do well as themselves. And I've been glad that I've been able to participate in that with a little bit of informal tutoring here and there in some of the more mathematical subjects.
Terrific. Well, Matthew, Joshua, thank you both so much for joining us today. Cheers.